So September 11th is the first day of my oldest son. He's 29. His first day of kindergarten.
Right.
So my wife convinces me we got to take him to school.
Yeah.
So, he's our oldest son. He's got little wet ears. He's got a little backpack on.
Right.
I've got a picture in front of his school at 8:48.
Oh, wow.
Or 8:46, I think, and the plane hits the building at 8:48. It's like 2 minutes before. And remember, I'm so old that their photographs had like a little timestamp in the little right-hand corner in orange.
Wow.
So we have that photo. And then we went upstairs. They told me a plane hit the building.
You're in the school then?
Yeah, I'm just in the school.
Right.
And then my phone keeps ringing, but I have a flip phone. But there's no one on the other end. So just before they came and told me a plane hit the building, my phone kept ringing. I kept saying, like, I was annoyed. Like, they can't just leave me alone for an hour to take my kid to school. I always have to be, something has to call me from work. And then an administrator came in and told me a plane hit the building.
Wow.
So I said to my wife, you stay with my son. And I'm going to go. So, but I hadn't seen a video or anything.
Yeah.
Right? This is 2001. There's no like streaming video
you
on
just
your
think
phone
it's an
or
accident,
anything.
small
Yeah,
plane.
like some small Cessna,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it is. So I go right to Fifth Avenue because I know, I've been working at the World Trade Center for decades. So I know this, the soonest you can see the building is from Fifth Avenue. You go straight down, and by the time you get to the Village, you can see the building.
Yeah.
And you can see smoke in the city rising. So I'm scared.
So you could see the two towers still.
But by the time we got there,
yeah,
I could see smoke pouring out of my tower because my tower is the one with the, I never heard of it as the North or South Tower, right? I just knew number one and number two.
Right.
I was in One World Trade Center.
Right.
My firm had the 101st to the 105th floors. Each floor was 40,000 feet. With the best views, like it didn't matter whose window.
Yeah.
The windows were sensational. Looking at the Statue of Liberty, looking at Manhattan, who cared? It was breathtaking.
Yeah.
And so I went to the building and I was going down and everybody was coming this way. But I was like, we got to get to the building. We got to get to the building because I could see the building was on fire.
Yeah.
And I got to the doorway of the building. And I started grabbing people as they were coming out, asking them what floor they were on. Right. Because I knew there were lots of doors. There were probably 20 ways out of the building. Right. And if one of my guys came out of this, then they were steaming out of all of them. Yes. And the highest floor I got to was 92, meaning someone told me they were on the 92nd floor. And then we heard this sound. Loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. I had no idea what it was. And I'd never seen a video of all this. So I just hear this noise and I start running, right? Now I'm dressed like this, right? In my suit. I'm running. And I mean, I'm running
what
my
was
tail
the
off.
noise?
It was the other building collapsing.
And what did it sound like?
It sounded like, in Titanic when it breaks apart in the movie.
Right, yeah.
It's like, it was just the loudest smashing, banging I've ever heard in my life. It was an explosion of thunder. Right. And I just started running. And I'm running my tail off, all my might. And I look over my shoulder and there's a tornado chasing me. This black, billowing thing that you've all seen in that video. So I'm running. And then I make a right on VC Street and there's a cemetery there. I've never seen the cemetery. It's not like Trinity Church. It's behind St. Nicholas. Yeah. I never paid attention to it. I didn't know this. But I see the tornadoes coming across the cemetery. And I dive under a car and go like this. And then it just goes whoosh. And then it's black and silent. And I'm thinking, I'm laying there thinking, I'm dead. Son of a gun. Wow. I'm dead because it's silent and black. So I said, all right, I'm dead. So I go like this. I stab myself in the eyes. And I'm like, ah. I'm like, okay, I'm alive. Right. I'm blind. Because remember, it's black and silent. So I'm blind and deaf. But I'm alive. So I said, okay, I get up. But of course, I'm hiding under a car. Yeah. So I smash my head. Oh. So now I'm bleeding, self-inflicted, bleeding.
Wow.
So I climb out from the car. I stand up. You know what the first thing I do is? I run.
Right.
But it's black. So what do I run into? Parked car.
Oh.
So now I run into the parked car, smash it. So now I'm bleeding, limping in black.
And was there anyone else around?
No.
No.
I saw a light.
Right.
So now I've got it. So I'm like walking like this. And I go to the light and there's a policeman holding a flashlight. So I put my hand on the back of his collar, which is like one of those hard collars.
Yeah.
And I go, let's get the F out of here. Right? And he sits down because he's in shock. The thing went through him and so I grab the flashlight. So now I got a flashlight. I'm like walking around, limping, bleeding.
Wow.
I got a flashlight. And I just walk uptown. Slowly, the fog breaks down and I can see my feet, all the crap everywhere. I walk uptown. The last part of the story I'll tell you. So I walk to where people are clean.
Right.
Gotta realize I look like I've been flushed down chimney.
Right.
5 or
Ash
6
all
times.
over you.
All
Gray.
over.
Right.
Just covered head
Right.
to toe. And I go to where there's people clean. And there are people online for a payphone because your cell phones don't work.
Of course.
And by the way, the phone that was ringing that I couldn't pick up, it was my brother Gary trying to call me.
Oh.
And he couldn't get through to me. Yeah, he couldn't get through to me, but he got through to my sister. And she said, "Oh, thank God you're not there." He said, "I am here. And I'm just calling to say goodbye. I'm going to die."
Oh, he knew.
Yeah. They knew he was going to die. So he told my sister he was going to die and he tried to get me and he couldn't get me. So just say goodbye. So I see these people are clean and they're online for the payphone. So I walk up to the front of the line. There's a woman talking on the phone. I take the cradle from her and I hang up the phone. And she turns around to start cursing me out. And she looks at me with the blood and all the, and she's like, whoa, like a ghost.
Right.
And I called my wife because it's like an hour later, hour and a half later.
She must have been panicked.
Tell her I'm alive.
Right.
She saw when the building fell.
Yeah.
She said she fell to the ground because she knew, these were my friends. It was my firm. And you love the people you work with. You don't say it, but you feel it. And the only way you would really know it is if I ripped them all away from you. You know what you would do? You would cry. And I cried every day until October 21st, 2004.
3 years.
Yeah, and I remember.
Why did you stop then?
As I fell asleep that night, I said to my wife, I didn't cry today. And she wrote it down. That's the only reason I know the date. What happened is I would be sitting with you.
Yeah.
And you would say, oh, I knew Suri. Yeah. And I hadn't really thought about Suri's death. And I would think about it right then.
Yeah.
And I would start crying.
Right.
Because you can't process 658 people getting murdered. You just can't.
No.
And so it just stays a part of you for a long time. So then I called my wife, and that's how she knew I was alive.
What did you do then? I mean, you'd lost everybody in your firm. You'd lost your brother. What made you decide to start all over again?
We hosted a phone call the next night. I had no way to communicate. So I just told the media, if you work at Cantor Fitzgerald, call this number.
Right.
Okay, that was it. That was my outreach.
Yeah.
And so we hosted a call. And I said, we have two choices. We could try to rebuild the company. Or we can go to the funerals of our friends, which will be every day.
Right.
And by the way, there were 20 funerals a day.
Wow.
Every day for 35 straight days.
For your people?
From just my people.
Wow.
So
and did you go to them?
I went to as many as I could.
Yeah.
And I became an expert. You know, I'd go to the, I'd go to sit in the second row of the church, say hello to the widow and their family. Then as it started, when there was a break, I would head out and go back and then go to the next church and go to the next church. But I had to work or go to churches. That's one of the two things I would do.
Yeah.
And
how many staff did you have left?
Well, I had 960 in New York.
Right.
So 658. So I had 302.
Right.
But I had assistants without bosses.
Right.
I had four people in the division of 60, so we decided if the boss was alive of a division, we would rebuild it. But the idea was, and all those employees, they said, let's go rebuild the company. We've got to go to work. Now, maybe they wanted to go to work. Maybe they couldn't think of anything else to do, whatever, but it was unanimous. And we committed that we would give 25% of our payroll.
So people's own money.
Everybody.
Right.
And everyone we hired. So imagine I'm trying to hire you.
Right.
Say, come on, join the firm. We'd like to pay you $200,000.
Yeah.
You agree. I go, but I have to send $50,000 to the family, so I can only pay you $150,000.
Right.
So only 1 out of 4 turned it down. 3 out of 4 said, okay.
Wow.
So think that's where the money came from, right? You can't make we're not going to make $700 million profit in this company that was destroyed. It came from the salaries of everybody.
Wow.
Okay. So now fast forward to 2008. The company's doing well.
Right.
But how can I go forward? Having the payroll of all these people, who most of whom I hired, who weren't even part of 9/11. Right. Who gave of themselves 25% of their pay.
Yeah.
How can I go forward and be like a businessman again if all these people have done that? So we take a company of ours public. And it's the weirdest deal on Wall Street.
Right.
Because I give my shares double what each of those people gave. So let's say in the example I gave, you gave 50,000. Then next you got a raise, so you gave 55,000. Then you gave 60 and 65 and 70,000. So you gave $300,000 over 5 years. I sold at the IPO 300,000 in your name and gave you 300,000 in cash, and then gave you 300,000 in stock for saving my soul. So I gave 1/3 of the company to the employees.
Right.
How much do they own now? 1/3.
Right.
Have they ever sold? No. We had the lowest turnover of any company because, they knew we cared.
Yeah.
And so it was a special company. And that's why I always spoke about it so glowingly. It's not like a normal CEO banter. These were extraordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Take us back to your childhood, and I guess what the resilience that you had on 9/11 came, I guess, in part from the tough times that you had as a child because your parents died quite young. Take us back to Long Island, what it was like growing up, and then the tragedy.
So I had a classic sort of middle class upbringing. My house was identical to the house to the right and to the left, and 6 over and 12 over and 18 over. You'd ride your bike down the street and there were 20 kids who'd join you, and you'd play football out on the street. And when a car would come by, you'd yell, car, and everyone would get off the street, but father was a professor, American history.
Right.
Mom, teacher and art teacher,
right.
Local college. And then cancer. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that had spread, and they gave her 6 months to live. And she lived 5 years.
Right.
But she lived like a tornado.
Right.
She's like 5-6 months to live. Ready, go.
How old were you when she got diagnosed?
So she got diagnosed, I was 12.
12, right. And you're the second child.
Middle child.
The oldest of the 2 boys.
Yeah.
And you've got an older sister.
I have an older sister, 2 years older than me. So
So tornado.
So she would go to India for a week, and come home and walk in the door and yell at me that I wasn't doing my homework. Like tornado.
Right.
And then she was taking, the brand new chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And, but it was not ready yet. So she lost her hair and so she wore a wig and stuff like that. But she taught me how to live.
How?
Like today is the greatest day of your life.
Right.
Today is the joy of being alive. Every day is the joy of being alive. If you fritter it away and you don't do something that makes you laugh, smile, happy, I kiss my wife. I tell her I love her. I tell her she's beautiful every day, because those things are true every day. And so she lived 5 years.
And did she take you along on part of her?
Yeah. I went. I would get called. I would get called out of school, and the vice principal would come and say, "Howard, come here." And I'd come out of class. I'd say, "What is it?" They'd say, "It's your mom." So I go running outside. She was in the car. I said, "You all right?" She goes, "Yeah, let's go." And we'd go to art galleries in the city, and then go see the opera, and then have dinner after.
Oh, lovely.
Just like, and then she'd get me home super late at night and say, "Better get your tail out of bed in the morning and get on the bus and go to school." So she lived life. And so she died in 1978. Right when I was 16. About, the next summer, my father develops a cough, and he doesn't tell me, but they diagnose him with lung cancer, and he does not smoke.
Wow.
So
how did that happen?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. He drops me off at college. So I don't know anything.
Right.
Drops me off at college. Goes in for his first chemotherapy shot. Nurse makes a mistake, gives him someone else's, kills him. So
you don't even know he's sick?
No.
Oh.
No. So you lose one parent, it's one thing.
Yeah.
When you lose the second parent, it's a whole nother thing. Okay. The second parent is a whole nother thing. And my relatives pulled out at my father's funeral. My father was killed September 12th, 1979.
Wow. Okay. September.
No, not a good time to hang out with me.
No.
September 12th, 1979. At his funeral, his brother says to me, "Do you want to come over for Thanksgiving?"
Right.
I said, "Isn't that like in 2 months?"
Right.
I go, "Are you actually inviting me over for Thanksgiving? Aren't you worried about how I'm going to eat tonight?" He said, "Just let me know if you want to come over."
Wow.
I never spoke to him again.
No.
They pulled away because they were afraid me, my sister, and my brother would be sticky. We'd come over and never leave.
Right.
So it really was.
You'd be a burden.
Yeah. So it was just me, my sister, and my brother. And we were tight.
Yeah.
Tight together.
Did you have money?
No.
Right.
No. Professor, we sold the house.
Oh.
Net of the mortgage.
Right.
Which was mostly, it wasn't, there was
You
no
had
money.
to do all that?
Oh, yeah.
At 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to drive home on the weekends to sell the house.
Right.
And it was miserable.
Yeah.
Try selling your parents' clothing,
Oh.
giving it away. It's just, talk about dark.
Yes.
And then driving back and forth in the dark.
Yeah.
Boy, it was sad.
And no one to cook for you or look after you?
No.
No.
Me, my sister, and my brother. My brother went to a boarding school next to Haverford College.
He was just 15.
And he would live with me on the weekends.
Oh, really? At college?
At college.
Right.
He would live in my dorm room with me.
Wow.
And then he did that for a year. And then my sister graduated college and she went to law school at Syracuse. And so then she got an apartment and my brother moved in with her and graduated from the public school in Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she went to a law school. And, we got through. We got through because we got through together.
And what did that teach you? What life skills did that teach you?
I knew what hell felt like. But I also know that you climb out of hell.
Mm.
And so on September 12th, 2001, I sat with my sister. I said to her, "Do you smell it?" She goes, "I do." It smelled like hell.
Yeah.
I was back in hell.
Yes.
Back in the same spot of hell again. But I knew, as one of the few people who actually knew how you climb out of hell.
Yeah.
And so I could talk to the widows in a different way than everybody else.
Yes.
So I would give them my home phone number and they would call me. You couldn't sleep anyway. I have horrible nightmares. So they would call, a widow would call me at 3 a.m. And we'd talk for a half hour. I never hung up first. Never. And I would say something and she would chuckle. And I'd say, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds sucked today. But that 15 seconds is pretty good. Things are getting better.
Right.
You know,
you're an optimist.
But it was a joke that only the two of us could tell. It wasn't for outsiders.
No.
And so I knew what hell was. And I know that hell takes time. It takes perseverance. And it takes an optimistic attitude.
Yes.
And it takes loving every day you're alive. And you need to love every day you're alive because it's the joy that God has given you today. And you don't know what tomorrow will bring.
No.
Bad day at the doctor tomorrow will change everything. But today's pretty great.
You don't want to take it for granted.
Yeah, you can't take it for granted. So look, I had cancer.
Yeah.
I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And every day I made sure that I did something that made me smile. I mean, you know, you get chemotherapy. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Right.
You know, when you take your dog to the vet, your dog shakes like a leaf.
Yes.
Because your dog knows. Like when I was sitting in the chair, like I figured myself, I'm pretty strong. The nurse would come in with the chemotherapy syringes. My body would start shaking like a leaf.
Wow.
Because they knew the poison's coming. And I'm like, come on, we need the poison. We need it to fight it. It didn't matter. My body was going, woo.
You went through that for 3 years, didn't you? You only got the all clear last September.
No. You get the all clear in about 7 months.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's when, and I don't like rumors. I'm not a big fan of rumors. So when I was diagnosed, I did a video. I put my phone down and made a video and sent it to my employees.
Right.
Right. And then when I went in for my first chemo, I told them, and then I kept them abreast of how it was going. And then when I got cancer free, I said, today I was told I was cancer free. The only time a doctor can say the word cancer to you, that's okay, is if they put the word free with it.
So it's just 7 months.
7 months.
Wow, that's great. And was that terrifying for you, knowing what happened to your parents, that here cancer's come again?
What was terrifying was getting the chemotherapy.
Right.
Because I'm sitting in that chair, like effectively the same chair that my dad was killed. Oh. And the nurse comes in and says, okay, I've got this. I'm like,
are you sure?
How do you know it's mine?
Yeah.
And they say, no, we triple check. We do that. They tell us everything. I said, well, how do I know the pharmacologist didn't go on a rager last night and is getting divorced? And all that. And she's like, I'm not going to kill you, Mr. Lutnick. I go, well, I know you don't intend to, but I had more angst.
Of course.
On that topic, because that's literally how my father was killed.